So our first look at a solely next generation game in Demon's Souls gives us the option to choose between either high frame rate or 4K. What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. We're getting our first glimpse of how a next generation game is going to run and what options we're going to have when playing it. And it looks like Demon's Souls, which is a remake of the PS3 game coming to the PS5, is going to have a 4K mode and a high frame rate mode. Now Demon's Souls is one of those games where you really have to have high frames in order to have the most fun with it, because you're dodging enemies very difficult and you need to make sure that you're not being bogged down by any stuttering or anything like that. So on the PlayStation 5, you're going to be able to choose a 4K mode or a high frame rate mode. And it's one of the few next generation launch exclusives coming out in the launch window with the PS5. And it's kind of giving us a glimpse of how these next generation games may run going forward. Now, me personally, going into this next generation with the power of these consoles and all of the boasting that's been going around just how great they are and how big of a boost they are with the SSD and the powerful GPUs, was hoping that these next generation games, the majority of them, will be running in 4K at 60 frames per second, but that may not be very realistic, at least in the first year or so of the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Now, Demon's Souls is a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and as we know, it is a weaker console in terms of teraflops and in terms of its GPU. So this could be something that is just on the PS5. It would be really interesting to see if this Demon's Souls game made its way over to the Xbox Series X and if it could run at 60 FPS at 4K. But it looks like for this game, you're going to be wanting playing it in 1440p with higher frame rates, so 1440p 60, which in general 1440p, at least for me when playing on a monitor, playing PC games, is the sweet spot. 4K is great and all, but 9 times out of 10 I would much rather have my game in 1440p resolution, which still looks great, but have those higher frame rates. And for Demon's Souls, you're definitely going to want to do that. And that also calls into question the viability and the use of the Xbox Series S being a 1440p machine, and just how much more useful that's going to be if a lot of these games are going to be giving you the option of either having a 4K resolution versus a 1440p resolution with higher frame rates. If the Xbox Series X goes in that direction as well, I'm hoping those 2 extra teraflops will give it that more power to have more games, especially third-party games, in 4K at 60 FPS. But I mean, we'll all have to wait and see how these games are optimized. But if that is not the case going forward, that Xbox Series X looks like an even better value than it is right now. I know me personally, I'm getting the X and I'm getting the PS5 on launch. I want that 4K and I want the most powerful console, plus I want that disk drive for backwards compatibility. But going forward, if the majority of third-party games coming out are going to either give you 4K at a lower frame rate and then the option to play games in 1440p at 60 FPS or more, I'm probably going to go with that 1440p resolution with higher frames. This is all just speculation, because this is really, Demon's Souls is really the first real next generation game, you could say, built from the ground up, coming out in the launch window. So it's our first glimpse of kind of what developers are going to do with these more powerful consoles, and the fact that they're going to give us, it sounds like, for Demon's Souls at least, but they're going to be giving us that selection between 1440p or high frame rates. It's a little bit disappointing to see. I know Demon's Souls, from the graphics that we've seen, from the videos that we've seen, is an amazing looking game, and it definitely will demand a lot on a console. But I was really hoping, with them touting how powerful these consoles are, with the amount of teraflops in the Xbox Series X specifically, that we're going to be able to get more 4K games at 60 FPS. But again, obviously you'll have to wait and see down the line. Anyways, I just want to talk about this because I do think it is something worthy to talk about, especially if you're getting a PS5. It is technically, on the GPU side, the weaker console, so it's probably going to have a harder time than the Xbox Series X at hitting those 4K 60 FPS for more and more games going forward. Even with that fast SSD, who knows how that's actually going to play in for making decisions like this. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Are you disappointed at all that the Demon's Souls remake is going to have a 1440p high frame rate and a 4K lower frame rate collection? Were you hoping that it was going to be in 4K 60 for the best experience? We're really let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel to stay up to date on all things next gen and to see more videos about the Xbox Series X and the PS5, specifically the launch day videos, the unboxings and everything. So I'm getting them on day one and I'm very, very excited to share that with all of you. Thank you all for watching and I'll catch you in the next video.